The jury room, a black box at the heart of justice. 12 ordinary people enter, a verdict emerges, but what happens inside is shrouded in secrecy. This rule is meant to let jurors speak freely, to debate without fear. The hope, strangers, guided by evidence, will find the truth. But people bring their biases, impatience, and egos into that room. Does the closed door filter out flaws, or let them run wild, unseen? What if secrecy hides injustice instead of protecting it? This is the story of a murder trial, a divided jury, and one woman who couldn't stay silent. She documented the power plays, the dismissals, the moments that had nothing to do with evidence. Her notes, never meant to be seen, cracked open the door to the jury room. The trial of Caleb Frost became more than a question of guilt. It became a referendum on the jury system itself. It forced us to confront the tension between privacy and accountability. How do we trust a process we're forbidden to witness? This story starts with a crime, but ends with a question. Does secrecy serve justice or bury it? The case against Caleb Frost was a puzzle with missing pieces. His business partner, Mark Renshaw, was found dead. No weapon, no clear evidence. The prosecution built a circumstantial case: motive, heated emails, erratic behavior, cell phone data. Each piece was thin, but together they argued it formed a narrative of guilt. The defense countered, arguments were normal, the insurance policy standard, cell data unreliable. Most importantly, there was no DNA, no fingerprints, no murder weapon. The prosecution's story was plausible, but not proof beyond a reasonable doubt. The jury faced a tightrope, a man's life in their hands, evidence open to interpretation. No smoking gun, just circumstances that could mean guilt or not. The case tested the jury's judgment, instincts, and ability to persuade each other. The stage was set for a fractured deliberation. Would they find truth or just consensus? The answer would depend on what happened behind that closed door. And that's where the real story began. The door to jury room 2B shut, 12 jurors alone. They elected Thomas, a confident businessman, as foreman. A quick vote, 9 guilty, 3 not guilty. Thomas pushed for consensus, seeing dissent as a problem to fix. Debate began, but the majority dominated, especially Thomas and a few vocal men. Dissenters, especially women, were interrupted or dismissed. Arguments shifted from evidence to gut feelings. He just seems guilty. Social pressure mounted. Doubters were labeled naive or difficult. The room grew tense. The holdouts were pressed to justify their doubts, met with sighs and eye rolls. The majority used not just facts, but intimidation. It was a battle of wills, not just wits. One juror, quietly observing, documented every interruption, every power play. She was building a record of the deliberation itself. The process was less about justice, more about conformity, and the pressure was only beginning. Juror number 4, Sarah Jenkins, a quiet librarian, a careful listener. She entered with a sense of duty, taking meticulous notes on everything. She was one of the 3 initial not guilty votes, expecting honest debate. Instead, she saw dissenters worn down by the majority's force. Women's doubts were dismissed as emotional or illogical. Sarah, less confrontational, stayed quiet but kept writing. She started a section, Deliberation Dynamics, documenting interruptions, condescension, and gendered comments. The discussion shifted from evidence to stubbornness of holdouts. Her notes became a secret record of power struggles and intimidation. As the days dragged on, the other 2 holdouts gave in. 11-1. Sarah was alone. The room's impatience turned on her. They wanted her vote, not her reasoning. Her notes were her only ally, proof the process was flawed. She held out, but the deliberation was no longer about justice. It was about breaking her will. After 7 days, the jury found Caleb Frost guilty. Sarah, exhausted and isolated, finally changed her vote. She went home, haunted by the injustice she'd witnessed. Weeks later, she confided in a journalist friend, sharing her notes. The journalist, stunned, published an anonymous article quoting Sarah's records. The story exploded, an unprecedented look inside a jury room. The notes revealed a process driven by ego and intimidation, not evidence. Legal experts and civil liberties groups were outraged. Frost's defense demanded a new trial for jury misconduct. The judge and prosecution decried the breach of secrecy. The public was fascinated and horrified. One juror's conscience had become a national controversy. The leak triggered a legal firestorm. Could Sarah's notes be used as evidence? The no impeachment rule said no, but Frost's lawyers argued the notes showed gender bias and misconduct. The judge ruled the notes inadmissible, but public outcry was fierce. The case climbed to the state Supreme Court. Traditionalists defended secrecy as essential. Reformers demanded accountability. The debate protect candid debate or expose injustice. Reformers proposed a narrow exception for credible evidence of bias. The court now faced a historic decision: redraw the line between secrecy and justice. The outcome would reshape the jury system. The Frost exception, a turning point. In a close ruling, the court allowed juror notes if there was credible evidence of bias. Caleb Frost got a new trial, but the impact rippled outward. The Jury Accountability Act passed, mandating clearer jury instructions and confidential reporting of misconduct. New instructions warned against bias and intimidation. Some courts tested a juror advocate system for deadlocked or troubled juries. The Bar Association launched a task force on jury transparency. Hearings included legal experts and anonymous jurors like Sarah. Reforms, even pilot programs for recorded deliberations, were now on the table. The once untouchable secrecy of the jury room was under review. The Frost case resonated far beyond the courtroom. For many women, Sarah's story was all too familiar. Her notes exposed the subtle sexism and silencing that pervade decision-making spaces. Juror number 4 became shorthand for being ignored or dismissed. Sarah's quiet documentation became an act of resistance. The case sparked a public conversation about power dynamics and manufactured consensus. Experts called it a textbook example of how dominant voices control the narrative. The jury room was revealed as another arena for old power imbalances. The Frost case led to legal reforms and validated the experiences of countless women. Sarah's testimony gave voice to the unheard, empowering others to question the fairness of their own rooms. The Frost exception cracked open a centuries-old wall. The legal system now faces a new challenge balancing secrecy and accountability. Traditionalists warn of a chilling effect. Will jurors self-censor, fearing their words could overturn verdicts? Reformers argue that unchecked secrecy is naive in an age of awareness about bias. Accountability, they say, can foster more responsible debate. The Frost case didn't give easy answers, only a necessary question. How do we weigh secrecy against the need for fairness? Is a secret, biased verdict just? Or is some transparency worth the risk? The door to the jury room is no longer fully shut. Now, we must ask, how far open should it be?